I believe the Cincinnati Bengals will go 4-13 this year, and I do not like saying that. Let me be clear. I'm rooting for Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is fantastic. He's a great young quarterback in this NFL, and I love watching him. I really, really love watching Joe Burrow. And the Bengals are trying, to their credit, man. They brought in a new defensive end, Trey Hendrickson. He had 13 and a half sacks last year. He was tied for second most in the NFL. Like, bringing him in was a big deal. I was like, oh, that's a great move. Sam Hubbard plus Trey Hendrickson. They gave Sam Hubbard a big contract. Two really good defensive ends in Cincinnati. Now, they signed right tackle Riley Reif. We'll see how good he is. There's a reason why Minnesota let Riley Reif, I don't really know or care how you say his name. I meant to do well, but I screwed it up, probably. There's a reason, though, why Minnesota let him leave. I've watched him on film way more than I've heard his name said, and not particularly great. Like, we'll see. I know that Cincinnati's excited about that move. It looks good on paper. I don't know how it's really going to play out in real life. They did bring in two new corners, Chidobe Awuzie and Mike Hilton. That's solid. But the thing that I didn't mention yet is they lost corner William Jackson III to Washington. They did get a new starter, but in my opinion, it doesn't balance out. Like, the person they lost does not really. So the person they replaced does not really fill the shoes of the person they lost, William Jackson III. Like, they didn't really replace him, if you know what I mean. AJ Green is gone. And that's good. I mean, he didn't want to be there, and you never want a player who doesn't want to be on your football team. They replaced him with Jamar Chase, who, oh man, it's a concern. He's been struggling with drops during the preseason, and a lot of people are overreacting and being really upset about this. And I'm not watching Lamar Jackson drop passes going like, oh, this is so great. But it's also preseason. Let's calm down. Let the guy have time to develop. I'm not ready to crucify this guy just yet. Now, I like receivers Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, and I still do believe Jamar Chase will figure it out. Joe Mixon is the running back in Cincinnati. He's really good. And I'm hopeful that former first-round pick Jonah Williams will have a good year at left tackle. Now, one guy who's a disappointing story in Cincinnati, cornerback Trey Waynes missed all of 2020 last year with a pectoral injury. This is your pec, right? Yeah, it's your pec. Okay, good. I pointed to my pec, and I'm like, wait, what if this isn't my pec? That would be horrible. Now, they gave Trey Waynes a really big contract. He didn't play at all last year because of that injury. And then in August, he hurt his hamstring. And you're like, dude, is this guy ever going to play? We paid him a ton of money, we meaning the Bengals. And I would imagine Bengals fans are very, very frustrated with that. So he's still out. He's not going to play week 1. Now, I'm curious how quickly Joe Burrow can get back to where he was last year. During his rookie year last year, got hurt, had this horrible knee injury. He's back now, and he was on a roll last year. He was playing so well, and I really hope that there is no sacrifice to his playing ability because of that knee injury from last year. I hope he just starts right where he left off and has a great year. I hope there's no time where he's growing and trying to get back to where he was. Now, I have the Bengals winning these 4 football games. I have them winning week 2 at Chicago, week 4 against the Jaguars, week 6 at Detroit, and then winning their final game of the year, week 4 at Cleveland, week 18, because the Browns rest their starters. I do not like saying that the Bengals are only going to win 4 games this year. Let me be clear, 4-13 is my expectation. But I would like to see the Bengals do better than that. And there are a couple swing games I want to mention that if they win this game or that game, they could easily go from, 4-13 to 7-10, maybe 8 wins. I think 8 wins is probably the ceiling for this Bengals team. But if they beat the Jets week 8 and the Raiders week 11, the Ravens week 16, they can go 7-10. I think maybe if they find another win somewhere in there against a good football team, they could go 8-9, which I feel like would be a good year for Cincinnati given what's going on with them. This is a team that's trying to bounce back. I don't know that. I think Bengals fans have slightly unrealistic expectations, thinking their team is a playoff team. They're going to do all this stuff. I'm like, wow, let's slow down. You're just trying to get through a year without your quarterback getting hurt, in my opinion. I think, frankly, they got better. They added a new receiver, Jamar Chase. I don't know how much of an impact that really makes. And they lost a good corner. They added a new defensive end. We'll see. I am skeptical of how good the Bengals will be, but I had them 4-13, and we will see where they are in November. And if in week 10, I'm clearly wrong, I'll point it out. I would like to see the Bengals doing fantastic. It'd be awesome if they were 8-0 to start the year. I just don't think that's a realistic expectation for the Cincinnati Bengals.